Welcome back to my channel. In today's lesson, we are looking at Jamb likely question as usual. But today Jamb likely question goes thus: C8Cl3, which is known as trichloromethane, reacting with chlorine gas or chlorine molecule yield hydrogen chloride and tetrachloromethane. The reaction above is an example of A. An addition reaction. And what is an addition reaction? An addition reaction can easily be classified as unsaturated hydrocarbon. And those unsaturated hydrocarbon means that when a double bond or a triple bond reacts with any molecules, they will yield a single bond. That is, if a double bond reacts with any molecule like hydrogen molecule, hydrogen chloride, they will yield a single bond. But if a triple bond reacts with any molecule, for example like hydrogen molecule, will yield a double bond. Is that clear now? So that is that for an addition reaction. And if you have to look at the board, what we're having on the board does not tell us anything under unsaturated, either if they are double bond or they are triple bond. So let's go to the second one. A. Decomposition reaction. This is the kind of or the types of reaction at which a single compound is being broken into two or more simpler substances. So they can easily be reversed. Either I say they are reversible or irreversible reaction. And another example of that is the thermal decomposition. So we're not talking about a single compound here being broken into two or more simpler substance. No. So B and A is not the option. Let's take a look at C. A substitution reaction. A substitution reaction is a type of reaction that are being classified or subjected to a saturated hydrocarbon. That is, when a compound reacts with the halogen, so we call them the haloalkane, can either be chlorine, can either be iodine, can either be bromine. Is that clear now? When they react with alkane, they will produce haloalkane with hydrogen chloride. So now, before we can decide on the answer, a substitution reaction is likely the answer, but no, that is not the final answer until we explain the last options. A condensation reaction is a type of reaction at which two molecules combine to form a new compound. Example of that is esters. We can say they are esterification reaction. Under the esterification reaction, we take a look at the reaction between alcohol and carboxylic. We yield esters. So that is not the answer, but the final answer is what? A substitution reaction. Don't forget, three guys are what? They are classified as what? A saturated. Why this is what? Unsaturated hydrocarbon. Exactly now. So when we talk about this reaction, again, I will repeat myself. The reaction between trichloromethane with chlorine gas in the presence of ultraviolet light, or we call sunlight, we yield what? We yield hydrogen chloride and tetrachloromethane. That example, this kind of equation is a good example of what? A substitution reaction. For those of you that are just coming across this, I explained the concept of mechanism in my last video, and if you are having issues with organic chemistry, do have to check my video catalog and find solution to your fear. So guys, the next question, 2010 number 45. The question states that the final product of the reaction between methane and chlorine in the presence of ultraviolet light. In case you come across this ultraviolet light, or Jamb decided to use sunlight, that is what? The same thing. In the presence of ultraviolet light are hydrogen chloride and A. tetrachloromethane, B. chloromethane, C. trichloromethane, D. dichloromethane. So now, here's what we call the steps in substitution reaction. We have the free radicals, we have the initiation, we have the propagation, and we have the termination. So let's take a look at those 4 steps. So I call it step 1. I call it step 2. So don't forget, I call this one free radicals. This one is the initiation. Step 3, we call this one propagation. And step 4, we have termination. As a jumper, your teacher might not expose you to this. Are you with me now? But come closer, I'll teach you guys how you can easily navigate in case Jamb decided to pick free radicals of substitution reaction, or initiation of substitution reaction, or propagation of substitution reaction, or termination of substitution reaction. You should be able to tell which one is the correct answer. So guys, come. The first we have is what? CH4 methane reacting to what? Cl2. We are told that they are going to yield hydrogen chloride plus CH3Cl. Why do we have CH3Cl? Mind you, you're having Cl2 here and you're having CH4 here. If you are to remove one hydrogen from this place and as well removed one chlorine from this place, we are having what? Hydrogen chloride. We are left with what? CH3Cl. This is known as what? Chloromethane under the free radicals, which is this B. The second one, which is initiation, which is step 2. What we have here for this, the final product here, we are bringing it here by adding chlorine. So we have CH3Cl plus Cl2. So don't forget the light, ultraviolet light, always add it there. Is that clear now? So that will act more as a catalyst. So guys, so now the same thing we did here under the free radicals is also applicable to initiation. So guys, we have a CH3 here, Cl. Now we have to divide this into 2. By doing that, we have a CH3 here. Pick one of the hydrogen here. We'll be left with what? CH2. Now add one of this chlorine to this Cl here. We have your Cl2 plus. We are left with what? HCl. This is called dichloromethane, which is D. The first one we have was what? Chloromethane, which is B. The second one we have what? Dichloromethane, which is D. So now let's see if we are going to have tetrachloromethane and trichloromethane. What we have here will be what? Will be the starting point of this propagation as well. So we have CH2 Cl2 plus Cl2. So now the way we have been doing it, just continue applying those steps and your knowledge of mechanism. Is that clear now? So guys, so CH2 Cl2. So I'm going to what? Remove one hydrogen from this place. I'll be left to a CH now plus the hydrogen. So now this one here, we are going to split it into 2. By adding one chlorine to this will give you Cl3 Cl. So guys, this is trichloromethane, which is our C. You can see now, each steps come with answer, and each of those answers are among the options provided by Jamb. So now the last one, which is what? Termination. What do we have here? We have CHCl3 plus Cl2. So guys, now the same thing here. I'm going to remove this I'm going to remove this hydrogen here plus this is hydrogen. We are removed from that CH. We are left with what? Carbon. And what do we have here? We have a Cl. So if we are to split this into 2, one will be going to this and one will be coming to this, which will make this one to be what? CCl4 HCl. So guys, tetrachloromethane is the end point of the reaction between methane and chlorine. You can't just go to Jamb question and pick answer. So now, chemistry core will explain the steps by steps of how you can easily navigate through your organic chemistry mechanism, which is what we have done on the board. Is that clear now? So guys, the first answer we have was chloromethane, which is B. The second answer we have is what? Dichloromethane, which is D. The third one we have is trichloromethane, which is C. And the last answer which we have is what? Tetrachloromethane, which is our answer. So if you look at this 2023 number 33 questions and 2010 number 45, it takes down 13 years to set this kind of question in another dimension. So as a Jambite, as I always tell my students in my physical class that Jamb will always play with your brain. They'll give you question, and among the options, anything you think of is there among the options. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, share. If you have any problems or any questions you're having issues with, drop it in the comment box.